What are you saying, ladies and gents? It is your boy, Bucket Hat Sam. We are back again today for another video. Today's video, I'm doing my Manchester City and Chelsea combined 11. But before we get into it, please smash the like button and please subscribe. I'm trying to get to 15,000 subscribers this year. That is the goal and that is the aim. And I can only do it if you click that button. It takes 2 seconds. And comment down below your thoughts on the video. Right, let's get straight into it. Ederson or Robert Sanchez? Now, Robert Sanchez for me is probably one of the most frustrating goalkeepers in the league. So I'm telling you now, I won't be picking him. You think about the amount of errors leading to goals, and we can talk about that. There's been so many moments this season where he's been really frustrating. You know, on his day, he's a good goalkeeper, and he has been at many times and many points throughout his career, especially at Brighton. We've even seen it this season at times for Chelsea. He can be very good, but there's just so many errors leading to goals. And you think kind of the amount of goalkeepers that they've got on their books now, Chelsea, it's mad to think that this guy is still playing week in, week out. It's interesting that Maresca's still backing him, especially off the amount of moments and amount of games you can think of this season where he's been at fault for goals. And even this week, literally just gone against Wolverhampton Wanderers. So yeah, he's the really frustrating one. So I'm not going to be picking him. I'm going to be picking Ederson. Ederson, I've come kind of full circle on. Ederson was one goalkeeper I used to say in the past that I was never fully convinced by. I thought he also made a lot of errors and things like that. But I think we've seen when Ortega's come in, the kind of the drop off, and I think it really made me appreciate just how good Ederson is. And maybe I might have been a little bit harsh on him. He is a good goalkeeper. You don't play at the top level for a side like Manchester City for as many years, winning as many Premier Leagues as you do if you're a bad goalkeeper. So I'm going to put my hands up and say I got that one wrong. So that is my goalkeeper done. Now on to the right back. So the choices, again, are a little bit all over the place. Manchester City, and it looks like Kyle Walker is going at the time of recording. It looks like Fabrizio's just literally announced that he's going off to AC Milan. So you can't look at it. Rico Lewis, players like that, there aren't really many. Matheus Nunes has been playing at right back, kind of being basically playing as a right winger, though, how far he gets on forward. But for me, it's got to be Reece James. Now, I understand a lot of people say Reece James is a bit crazy, but Reece James, when he's fit, we've seen already, he played really well against the Wolves. He got an assist, and then he scored in the game before against Bournemouth. You know this guy is an absolute joke when he's fit. So because he's fit, and I don't care, he's available to play, so he would go in my combined 11. Now, I know he's probably going to be injured by the time this goes out and things like that, because we know how many injuries this guy gets, but I still think he's absolutely incredible. One of the best fullbacks in the league when he's fit. And I know we talk about it all the time, and the best ability in football is availability and things like that. But I still think he's incredible. So when he's fit, he walks into this team. There's another player we'll get onto in a bit who's got a very similar kind of player, and we'll talk about that in a minute. But now onto my centre-back choices. Now, there's a lot of choices. Chelsea have got a lot of centre-backs, and Trevor Chalobah has just now come back into the fold, and he had a really good game against Wolverhampton Wanderers, but he's not going to make the team. For me, it's Akanji and Diaz. Now, Akanji and Diaz, I feel like a really, really good combination as well. Diaz is your leader. I think Akanji's the better footballer, but they just kind of work really well. You know what you're going to get with Ruben Diaz. He's very vocal. He leads on the pitch, and he leads by example. And I think that he's been one of the big misses for Manchester City this season. When he's not been available, you've seen it's been very disjointed. So yeah, that is my choice for the two centre-backs. I know you've got players like Tosin and things like that. Again, for Chelsea, the centre-backs is not where they're really kind of at their strongest. I know they've got some injuries as well with the likes of Fofana and other players like that, but that is my centre-back pairing. I've got Akanji and Ruben Diaz. Then onto the left-back situation. You've got Cucurella or Vardiol. Now, Vardiol is incredible, don't get me wrong, but I think Cucurella is probably the best left-back this season in the Premier League, and he's carried on that form that he showed at the end of last season, then into the Euros, and then this season. The guy's an absolute joke. Now, I understand what you're going to get from Vardiol, but Vardiol at times, you can tell he's a fullback. You can tell he's a centre-back playing at fullback, whereas I think Cucurella is the more of a fluid player that really kind of blends his attacking and defensive play really well. I really like what you're going to get from him. And I think he's a player that, again, that I've come full circle on. He's another player, we're going to talk about another one like him in a minute, that kind of came from Brighton, and at the start kind of really looked like they'd overpaid, but he's really kind of got into this Maresca system, and he's playing really well. And he kind of inverts at times when he needs to, and kind of gets into that centre midfielder role to help the next player that I'm going to talk about. So now onto my midfield three. I'm going for Caicedo as the holding player. Now, obviously, Rodri's injured, so we're not going to be talking about Rodri, and I won't be talking about any injured players. This is a combined 11 right now. So just before you get on to me, my midfield, Caicedo. Now, Caicedo for me is arguably the best holding midfielder right now in the Premier League. It's him or Gravenberch. Caicedo is absolutely incredible. And what I really love is the fact that he's left isolated quite a lot at times. He's left on his own, similar to the way Kante was left on his own at Chelsea, but he kind of still mops up the play really nicely, and he's really good on the half turn. And you watch the amount of times the ball gets played into him in situations where there are players swarming him and he beats the press. He is absolutely incredible. He's the reason why players like Enzo Fernandez, your Cole Palmers are really kind of allowed to go on and get on a bit more forward and have a bit more kind of freedom, because Caicedo is so regimented and so well in this system to allow the other players to flourish and to go on forward. So Caicedo will be the first one in that midfield. Then the next player for me has got to be Kevin De Bruyne. Now, Kevin De Bruyne is similar in the sense of to the Reece James shout. When Kevin De Bruyne is fit, He walks into any combined 11. The guy is arguably one of the greatest attacking midfielders we've ever seen. One of the greatest creative midfielders the Premier League has ever seen. And you even saw it this weekend against Ipswich. He comes back in. He starts for the first time. He looks like he's really actually fit for a long time. And you just see he absolutely dominates the play. Yes, I know it's against Ipswich, but you can only play what's in front of you. And Kevin De Bruyne is absolutely incredible. So Kevin De Bruyne is the first one in there. And then we'll have Cole Palmer in there as well, kind of playing in that free role. The two of them can bomb on forward, because that's what happens with Chelsea quite often. Caicedo is left on his own, left to his own devices, and he can handle it. So yeah, so that is my choice in that midfield kind of situation. That is my midfield three. Now, I know a lot of people say this isn't very balanced. It's combined 11. They never really are. Now onto that right hand side, I'm going to go for Phil Foden. Now Phil Foden has been absolutely incredible since the turn of the new year. He's kind of been a player that's been a lot of question marks from myself, from many other fans across the world. He's kind of not really delivered for City so far this season until the new year started. He's currently the top goal scorer in the Premier League in 2025. He's got 5 goals now. The guy is an absolute machine. And what I really like about the fact is there's always been a question mark is where is Phil Foden's best position? Where can he be suited? Where does he kind of work in a system? But why he's been doing so well is because Matheus Nunes is playing right back and bombing on forward and basically playing as a right midfielder, which allows Phil Foden then to come on inside and working in that kind of second space. I don't like him as a number 10. I like him when he kind of operates in between the fullback and the centre-back in that kind of extra channel there, and no one knows who to mark and how to mark him, so it kind of works really well. So Phil Foden on that right-hand side, and then onto the left-hand side, there's a lot of choices. Now, I know Grealish hasn't really been performing. Doku's not really been consistent enough. I know he played well against Ipswich, but I've not seen the highest level from him. I'm probably going for Pedro Neto. Now, I know a lot of people might want Sancho in there, but I like Pedro Neto more as a winger. Now, I really like what you're going to get from him. You're going to get goals, assists, and he's a willing runner and works back really well. And I think that's something that's really underrated about his game, his work rate, and we've seen that so far. He's kind of a player that's really done well under Maresca, playing as many games as he has, and I still think he can go to that next level, but I do like him at the minute, so he's going to go as the left winger, because I think that's kind of one of the weaker positions in this team. And then to the striker, I know a lot of people know how much I like Nicholas Jackson, but I can't give Nicholas Jackson the title for this one. There's no way. I can't. As much as I'd love to say that he's been the best player in the Premier League, it's got to be Haaland. I love Nicholas Jackson. I speak about him all the time. I know, you know what you're going to get from him, but Erling Haaland is an absolute joke. He's the best striker on the planet, and you can't really deny it. I know we've joked a lot about the fact that he's washed and things like that on this channel, and we've joked before. His goal scoring return is absolutely incredible, and I'm expecting to see him kind of come back into form now with the fact that the rest of the team will be providing a lot more for him. You saw it against Ipswich. He kind of looked like himself again, and it's mad to think that he's dipped in form and not scored for as long as he has done, and he's still the second top goal scorer in the league. So yeah, you know what you're going to get from him. I feel like it's an easier one. And managers-wise, I really like Maresca, but it's got to be Pep Guardiola regardless. But I do really like Maresca. Maresca's really proven me wrong, because I wasn't quite sure with him before the start of the season, but I'm going to put my hands up. I've done a video on it. I've said I was wrong about Chelsea, and they're kind of in that battle for the Champions League, which is better than a lot of people expected, let's be honest. But my prediction for the game is I am going for a 2-1 Manchester City win. Yes, you heard me right. I'm going for Manchester City regardless. I think Chelsea have had a little dip in form, and I know they got a good result on the weekend, but I still look at them as a whole, and I still think that Manchester City have got that kind of firepower, and you know how it is. After January, they kind of really get going. But there is my combined 11. Hopefully you've enjoyed the video. Please do smash the like button. Please do subscribe for lots more content coming your way. There's lots of videos I've recorded today, so they're going to be going out non-stop all the time. But as you know, click the link down below, subscribe, and check out all my other socials. But thank you guys for watching. Bucket Sam over and out, and I will see you for another video. Comment down your team, by the way, and your prediction for the game. But thank you for watching. Goodbye.